Hello again, everyone, and welcome into RedHawk Football Weekly. I'm Steve Baker, the voice of the RedHawks, this week talking about a 38-0 homecoming win over Lindenwood this past Saturday. And we'll look forward to this weekend's Mid-American Conference opener on the road at Northern Illinois University. Joining me is head coach Chuck Martin. And Coach, last week we talked a lot about correctable, critical errors. And this week, really only one. And all three phases of the game really solidly contributed to a big win.
Yeah, it starts with our defense. Defense that had a fantastic first half against a really potent UNLV offense. And then, like we said, kind of got on their heels, lost their confidence a little bit in the second half. And they really came out and set the tone start to finish. 60 minutes, they never really gave Lindenwood anything, anything in the air, anything on the ground. Cleaned up a lot of the mistakes. We're on their toes. We're aggressive. So really great performance by our defense. Anytime you get it's just hard to get shutouts. They don't happen very often. I don't care who you play, where you play, what the situation. Moving ST, obviously Kellen has a major impact. I think he kicks every ball out of the end zone the whole day. And then obviously the block punt by Cam Perry, as big a play as there is in the game, setting the tone early. Defense gets a great stop and has them backed up, and then we smother the punt. You got a receiver that's having a great year, receiver that's rushing punts. And again, it goes a long way. Like, not only the block punt, scoop and score, that's major, but when everybody in your program sees, well, that's our leading receiver, and he's out there rushing punts. Like, he's not returning punts, he's and he's excited to go do it, and he's begging to go do it. And so a lot of receivers don't want to do those things. So what it does for your whole program when you see that kid make that play, like, oh, Cam Perry's on punt rush? Well, yeah, and he wants to be, and he's really good. And why wouldn't he be good? He's one of our fastest guys, right? So, but there's a lot of fast receivers that don't block punts.
Right, exactly.
So that's huge. And then Lionel does a good job on the returns. There's some tough ones to catch, and he saved us a bunch of yards, which are small things that add up in the course of the year. And then offensively, we did a lot of good things. Probably not as consistent or defense or ST, but we did a lot of good things. Kenny's second straight game with a 100-yard rush, and we threw the ball. We got big chunk plays in the ground. We got big chunk plays in the air. Some mistakes in the first half that we'd like to have back for sure. Second half, we had two, really long scoring drive in the third quarter where we only ran the ball, and then a really long drive in the fourth quarter with our twos where we only ran the ball, which again, we had worn down a smaller team.
Right.
And we know what that feels like sometimes when we play the Big Ten schools. Sometimes fourth quarter, we're starting to run out of gas a little bit. And we did that in the second half. Our O-line leaned on them pretty good the whole game. And we really, you could see in the third quarter, I'm like, they're about done. They're really tired and they're beat down, and our size is taking over. So really clean game from Miami, really good football game. We cleaned up a lot of our mistakes. We still got a long ways to go, as we talk about, but we're getting better each week, and this was another good step in the right direction.
Yeah, and Hank had a really good game, I think, for you on Saturday as well, Henry Hessen. Completed passes, the long ball, short passes. I think it did a great job. Even ran the ball and got out of the pocket for a big pass as well.
Yeah, no, and puts us in the right play, gives us a chance, gets the ball the right spot. Obviously connecting on some huge ones. Made a really good play for the first half that we end up dropping the play.
Yeah.
But the receiver actually did a nice job getting open on a scramble. It was one of the best scenarios. We just didn't finish the play. We got to finish that play, but also got us in good run checks and gave our O-line and running backs the best chance for success. So, again, not unexpected that Hank would come in and do a great job, and he did do that.
Miami would get the ball to start the football game, and they would get out near midfield and then had to punt the ball away. It pinned Lindenwood inside their 10-yard line, and Nate Gantz, who has had an outstanding season at quarterback for Lindenwood, was exposed directly to the Miami defense.
Yeah, never really gave him a chance to get going. Great break by Silas, one step ahead of the play. We had a guy in his face, like we always talk about, Bake, like, you got a guy coming in your face, you got to make a quick decision. He doesn't see how good a shape Silas is in, and Silas steps in front. So right there, you see the backer up in his face, and Silas has already beat him to the spot. But again, did he have clear vision? It all works together. The pressure works with the coverage.
RedHawks were stopped on a 4th and 1 and punted the ball back, and then the special team says, here's your touchdown.
Yes, Cam Perry, great job off the edge. Jermaine Agee, freshman from Glenville Academy, gets to the beneficiary of the scoop and score. And again, defense leads to offense, as we talk a lot in basketball, right?
Yeah.
Defensive stop, pinning them back there, led to offense immediately on the special teams.
2 drives later for the RedHawks from their own 12 put together a really nice drive here.
Yeah, started off little fly sweep to Keith Reynolds. As many different ways as we get the ball to Keith. He's dynamic on special team, dynamic receiving, dynamic running the ball.
And this is where Hessen escapes the pocket and finds a wide open Cam Perry.
Yeah, really good job controlling the bad. They had a good call on versus a call for us, and we always talk about getting out of the bad downs, and Hank does a good job. This could have been a disastrous down, and we end up with a big chunk play out of it. So really nice play by managing a tough situation right there.
Kenny Tracy will be the recipient of this toss.
Yes, and a good running Keith effectively out to the field, a little play action off the fly sweep, and got Kenny in the flat. And again, we always talk about how underrated, like having a back that can receive like Kenny. He always has big catches and big plays via the Air Force.
Second straight game over 100 yards rushing for Kenny and a new career high of 134 yards, and he breaks one here.
Yeah, really nice job. Good run check by Hank. Really nice job by the offensive line. And good job by Kenny following the blocks.
You see the wide open running there. Nice hole made by the offensive line. 4th and 7, though, and Dom Jobin comes in to give Miami 3 more.
Yeah, really nice drive. Good job finishing. Puts you up 2 scores. Keeps your momentum going. Keeps everybody feeling good. And now you're up 2 scores in the first half. You know your defense is playing good, and we know we can move the ball.
Lindenwood's next drive starts at the 25. The defense puts him behind the chains. And then 1st and 10. Actually, this is 1st and 10. And Henry Hessen, a short right to Braylon Isom.
Yeah, so really good job. Good read off the coverage and hits Isom for a nice 12-yard game. Starts the drive off really good. Braylon getting on the score sheet with his catch.
Here's Kenny Tracy once again. He's going to take it up the middle for 16.
Yeah. Good job again by the offense line, obviously gaping hole, and good job by Kenny getting it north-south and a big chunk run for us.
Yeah. 1st and 10 from the Lindenwood 31-yard line. And another look at this run by Kenny Tracy, and Henry Hessen took a shot as he delivered the ball. I handed it off, but Kenny took it up in there. Cam Perry deep off the left side. Nice pass, nice adjustment to the ball, and the over-the-shoulder catch by Cam Perry.
Yeah, great job. Good job throwing the ball away from the defense. Great job adjusting, like you said, by Cam and catching the ball and getting the ball in the end zone. So good protection, good execution. Their pressure, and our offense line does a great job picking up the pressure, giving us time to push the ball down the field, and Cam makes another play for us. And now he's got a block punt that's set up a touchdown. He's got a touchdown receiving.
Miami would have one more chance to score at the Linwood 41-yard line. And again, this is Tracy around the right side for a big gain of 19.
Yeah, nice job. And again, time running down, but still trying to utilize the run game. When you run it there and you don't get anything, everybody yells at you. But when you run, you get 19, everybody's happy. So good execution there, and then good execution here, hitting Keith Reynolds, getting the ball down inside the 10-yard line.
You get down there and clock the ball, but unfortunately, the one critical error of the day, bad snap and missed timing. It immediately throws the punter's timing off to even get the snap down, and Dom Jobin puts that one into the upright on the right side.
Yeah,
and
again,
just a low snap.
Yeah, just a low snap. Hudson's so good, but Carter does a great job getting it down. Dom would probably tell you he's still got to make this, even though, like you said, it does throw all the timing off just a hair, and it is disconcerting the kicker. But Carter got it down so cleanly. We got to make that kick. So we had just dropped the ball in the end zone. So again, a really good drive there.
Yeah.
But we got to finish the drive with that touchdown, finish the drive with the field goal. We don't do it. So that's, again, things you just got to keep working on and keep getting better at. And again, you have a good 2-minute drive, you got to come away with points.
Yeah, and that's the type of thing that can change the momentum, because Lindenwood would get the ball to start the second half. But as we'll see, nothing changed for the Miami defense or offense. Actually, the offense got better in that second half.
Yeah, no, we were more consistent defense. Unlike UNLV, picked up right where they left off. They smothered them the whole half. Like you talked about, quality quarterback for Lindenwood, never really had a chance.
Yeah.
Never really had time to set and really dissect the defense, make decisions. You've already seen the one interception, which again, they boot him out. We got a guy right in his face, force him to make a quick decision. Obviously, bad decision and size beating them a spot. So our defense was all on. We didn't let them get the run game going, and now you can tee off on the quarterback, and that's what they did the whole game.
We'll come back and talk about the second half of the 38-0 win over Lindenwood in just one moment. Stay with us on RedHawk Football Weekly.
Water bottles piling up, Soppy? Before recycling, please empty, crush, and put the cap back on.
Make your recycling count. Rumpke.
Back on RedHawk Football Weekly, 17-0 was your halftime score. Miami out in front of Lindenwood, and we talked just briefly there about the team coming out in the second half, and with extreme focus on both sides of the ball. And you talked about it. You know, the second quarter, even late in that quarter, Lindenwood's defense had been out there a long time, and even though you dominated time of possession in the second half, it really, the defense, you take a look at the stats for Lindenwood, 83 yards total offense in the first half, 63 total yards in the second half, and doesn't get much more dominating than that.
Yeah, and we've been on the other side of this too.
Oh, yeah.
Part of our time of possession is how quickly our defense can outfield.
Yeah,
Everybody thinks that time of possession is an offensive stat. It's a team stat, you know. And our defense are getting 3 and outs, 3 and outs, 3 and outs, okay, which again forces Lindenwood's defense right back out there. We had a couple long drives. Even the first half, we had a long drive where we turned it over on downs. We had a long drive where we missed a field goal. But it's cumulative effect of game, but our defense just kept getting off the field. Never gave Lindenwood's defense a time to get over there and get their feet underneath them and right back. And then you could see it take its toll in the second half. We really warmed down up front. We were pushing them off the ball. We said the first drive, like, we're really moving them. And again, that's a credit to our offense of going on long drives, but that's also credit to our defense of really, really limiting the time that Lindenwood's offense had a chance.
We talk a lot about third downs, and Miami wasn't great at 4 of 13 on third down, but again, Lindenwood 1 of 13, and that one came on a long pass. That I think the defender fell down in the second half, and really it may have been just about the only time they got into Miami territory.
Yeah, it was one drive as they hit their last. It was like their last or first third down against our twos, but we got beat on a go ball, and they made a nice strong catch, and they had time to throw it. So, yeah, no, good stuff, and we converted a couple fourth downs, which is nice. We missed one fourth down, which we didn't block our gap, and if you don't block your gap, the bad things happen. So, much better from the defensive side of the ball across the board, like we talked about. The execution was much better. And the nice thing in the second half, we got a lot of guys on offense and defense in there that are backups that haven't played a bunch, and a lot of them accounted for themselves very well and had some success. And from that, game experience and doing well grows your confidence, and a lot of young guys got a chance to get out there and gain some confidence.
Yeah, and be ready to go in case their name is called to start in the future. Let's take a look at the second half as the defense got Lindenwood right off the field, 3 and out, and Miami takes over. Have it 2nd and 10 at the 38, and Keith Reynolds will get the call on the handoff.
Again, just trying to use Keith as many different ways as we can, and here we just got him at running back, and makes a great slide cut, and then very explosive once he gets on the back end of the defense.
And here's one of those 4th and 1s as we look at Keith Reynolds. He had another fine day. Great cut. Just put his foot in the ground and goes to the left, finds some room, and picks up, again, 20 yards on the play. Here's 4th and 1. Deshaunte Jones is able to get just enough to continue the drive on 4th and 1.
Yeah, Deshaunte, we've used him in some short yard situation. Big physical back, does a great job. Got a touchdown against Rutgers, and gets us a key first down on our first possession of the second half.
And again, a look at it here, just finding enough of that seam in the offense or defensive line to pick up the first down for Miami. 1st and 10 at the Lindenwood 32-yard line, and Keith Reynolds this time on the catch.
Yep, good job. A little play action, and got Keith in the flat. Hank got him the ball. Very similar to the play we had Kenny with earlier. And again, marching, taking time off the clock. You have a 3-score lead. You just want to drive down and score a touchdown and try to put this game out of reach.
You score a touchdown here. Kenny Tracy from 20 yards out. This is a big run.
Yeah, again, really good job up front. There's a big seam, and Kenny blows through the seam. Got hit a little bit late in the end zone, but we'll take it. So really, really nice job by the boys up front. Really good job by Kenny. And you'll see right here the seam he blows through, and Brian Shane with a really nice block, and then Kenny explodes through the hole, and we're in the end zone. And really good start to the second half. A stop and a lengthy drive for a scoring touchdown to start the half.
3rd and 5, 2 possessions later, and you go long to Cam Perry.
Yeah, good job pressure. Good job picking up the pressure. And again, if you can handle the pressure, you can make big plays versus pressure. So really good job by the offensive line and the running backs picking up the pressure. Good job by Hank standing in there and delivering a ball, and then great job by Cam getting open and finishing the play for us.
Yeah, you see him in the slot here, and just great move to the inside and to the outside, and then in, I should say, and 66 yards for the touchdown. Yeah, the two's in with 13:08 to play, and the defense makes a big play here on a long pass by Nate Glantz.
Yeah, great job by Eli Koppas. Textbook coverage start to finish. Squeeze the defender off his line, looks back, goes up and high points the football, and then gets us a great return.
And again, you talked about it in your press conference this week. There's like 4 elements for this play for the defender, and he executes every one of them textbook and turns around just in time, makes the grab, and Miami gets the ball. Mostly the second unit at this point of the game with 8:45 to play or so. Jordan Brunson is in, and he's gonna run this drive for you, basically 12 yards there to the Lindenwood 31.
We got a backup offense. We got all our backups in basically, and Jordan's played some good football for us, and he gets an opportunity to get out there and show what he can do. And then again, like we talked about, when you get your opportunities, are you showing everybody you deserve more opportunities, or you're just out there hanging out? And Jordan obviously took advantage of his opportunities and shows, hey, I want to. A lot of people are talking about it, like, hey, can we use, got brought up in the press conference, can we get some more out of it? Yes, no, but that's what happens when you go in, or you go in and you flounder around, and okay, that's why you don't get to play. So nice job by offensive line in this drive, all our backup offensive line. Good job by receivers blocking and methodically move the ball down the field. Go on like a 9-minute drive, and Jordan had the lion's share of the carries, just taking it all the way down inside the 1.
Yeah, on 4th and 2, he gets 4 yards to the 1-yard line is where they'll spot it. 6:47 now to play, and after a couple of timeouts, it goes into the end zone. On a 3rd and 1, Brunson finishes the deal, as Thomas Kotkowski also had a couple of runs, I believe, on that drive. But it makes it the final 38-0. Miami with the victory. And that was a drive that I told you before we went on the air, I kept thinking Chuck is loving this drive because, number one, able to run the ball, and we didn't throw a pass on the drive at all, and able to run it successfully. And like you said, happy for the guys that are out there on the field to have that success.
Yeah, and it's an important time for those. A lot of those guys, it's their first work of the season or first work of their careers, and again, it's a lot of times you can settle into being a backup role. I don't want our backups ever to settle into being backups because you be a backup your whole career. Like, don't take being a backup. So when are you prepared for those chances? Are you prepared for those opportunities? And what do you do with them? And again, you saw Eli Koppas. You saw Uline run through and take a run through a linebacker and smack the daylights out of running back. You saw Leo Colombi come up and hit somebody. Offensively, offensive line getting out there and doing things, and then obviously Jordan. So you get your opportunities. What do you do? Like, or we're playing out the string because the game's over. Like, no, this is your time to show that you're trying to move up the depth chart. So a lot of young guys did a lot of nice things. It was great to see them get that opportunity and have success with it.
Indeed, Miami wins it 38-0, and the second season begins this Saturday. MAC season opens up, and Miami is on the road in DeKalb, Illinois to face the Huskies of Northern Illinois University. And we'll be back to talk about the Huskies and the MAC opener in just one moment. And welcome back. Our final segment of RedHawk Football Weekly for this week. Miami on the road at Northern Illinois as the RedHawks will open up Mid-American Conference play. Both teams are 1-3 going into the week, and we'll meet on Saturday afternoon at 3:30. Terry Bridge and I will have the call for you on the Miami Sports Network beginning at 2:30 on the E&H Ace Hardware Tailgate Show. And Coach, this is the time of the year that things ramp up even a little bit more. You've gone through the non-conference schedule, and it's all MAC teams from here on out. The Mallory Cup on the line again this week, a trophy between Miami and Northern Illinois, and both of these teams looking for that first MAC win.
Yeah, no, it's a great matchup, but two of the top teams in the league. When you think of MAC football, you think Miami and Northern and Toledo and Western and OU and Buffalo, and the league is so competitive. I would say every MAC game is winnable, every MAC game is losable. No, from being in the league for 12 years, it's so hard to win on the road in this league. Just like it doesn't matter what the sport is, it's just hard to win on the road. And so you got to fight and scratch and claw. Then you're playing a quality opponent like Northern. Coach does a great job there. Ex-NFL running back in Northern. Like, they run the ball, they play defense, they play special teams, they play North and South, they play physical. They went into South Bend last year and out physical Notre Dame, and Notre Dame goes on, almost wins the national title. So they are a salty group. They're no fun to play against ever. You gotta like to hit, but you gotta like to be hit when you play Northern, because they're going to hit you on both sides of the ball, and they're going to be physical. They always have a great stable of running backs, not just one. They always have a great group of backs. So they're really salty at different spots on the field, and we start with 2 road games right off the bat. I think it's their 3rd or 4th year in a row. We start with two road games, which again just makes it more difficult. But we got to go on the road and find a way to battle for 60 minutes and try to come away with a victory.
Yeah, and you mentioned about their offense. They have 2 backs. Their leading backs are averaging 63 and 60 yards a game, so that's over 120 yards rushing per game. But it's their defense that's really been a key for them, I think, this year. The offense is averaging somewhere around 12, 14 points a game, but the defense is keeping them in games, and you mentioned salty. That's one salty unit.
Yeah, and their offense is a lot. Again, we go through it every year. They played Maryland.
Oh yeah.
They played Mississippi State. They played a San Diego State team that had just beaten Cal 34-0.
Yeah.
So San Diego State on defense is really good. So we go on a conference a lot of times, and some of our stats are pretty misleading based on what kind of MAC football team we are. And Northern's, everybody's like, what's the matter with their offense? I go, well, they've played some really good defense. Yes. No, and we went to Wisconsin and wasn't great that day, and I knew we were better offense than we showed that day, but we played a really stingy Big Ten defense, and we didn't play our best. And when you do that, so they're going through what we go through every year, and they have the ability to throw the ball, they have the ability to run the ball. They're saying the same thing. Now we're going to play like opponents, and we're going to get this thing going.
And you've got the Mallory Cup on the line. You talked about Bill Mallory in your press conference earlier today, and really means a lot to both of these schools. And next year, Northern Illinois moving to the Mountain West. I don't know if we'll play them in non-conference in the future, but it could be one of the last times they play for the Mallory Cup.
Yeah, and I could see us playing them in the future. But special deal, got to know Bill, got to know his family. I already knew his kids. The amount of respect that Miami University football, and really Miami University, has for Bill Mallory and his family. Not only Bill Mallory the coach, but Bill Mallory the person.
Yeah.
And Bill Mallory the family guy, and Bill Mallory the extended family. The Mallories are a special group of people, and not just because Bill was a legendary coach. It goes beyond that. And then knowing people at Northern, they feel the same way about him. I know people in Indiana feel the same way. So makes it very special. Not just we're honoring a great coach, we're honoring a unbelievable human being and one of the most fiery competitors that you'll ever be around. So pretty cool to be a part of that, and the Mallory Cup is very special to us.
And here we are on Monday, so again, the game is 5 days away. But injury-wise, you mentioned last week that some of the guys have come along faster. We had 4 or 5 guys out. You expect some of those guys to return this week?
Yeah, I'm optimistic. Some of them are going to be full go by Saturday.
Okay.
I'm hopeful that all will be able to contribute. We're not there yet, but based on last week, we're trending to where some guys I think will be practicing and be ready to go, just ready to go play and beyond their injury. And then other guys, hopefully, as the week progresses, will be able to at least play part-time, if not full-time. Again, so we're hopeful, and we got a lot of work to do. But they had a great week last week and really prepared hard to get back as soon as possible. And I think some of them are going to be back.
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Mike.
Northern Illinois, the opponent this Saturday, 3:30 is the kickoff time. On the air at 2:30 with the E&H Ace Hardware Tailgate Show. Myself and Terry Bridge on the call. And until then, I'm Steve Baker for Chuck Martin. Thanks for watching. Love and honor, everyone.